We are in inning number 5 of this 2016 Game 7 recap. We're going inning by inning. Make sure you just go ahead and binge all the ones that you've missed so far. And if you're watching this after December 2024, you can binge all of them because we're doing these 10 days in a row. Now, this right here is a really key conversation. Again, I'm going to reference Game 7. It's a documentary on Netflix. They talk about this. David Ross talks about this in the episode about the Cubs. This right here, David Ross, essentially what he's saying is, hey, I've got John up. That's why Ross is over here in the dugout now, is because he's got John Lester loose. He was down there at the bullpen with Lester. He was saying, hey, let's get him in a clean inning. We don't want to bring him in the middle. We also don't want to sit him back down and stand him back up. Meanwhile, Joe is kind of like, well, Kyle's rolling. He's through 4 innings. Do I really want to bring Lester in? So even though he's hearing what Ross is saying, you'll see how this plays out in just a little bit here. But this is really the wildest of the innings outside of inning number 8, which of course we all know what happens there, and we'll get to that in a couple videos. But Javi Baez ambushes Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber, they thought they could get 5 innings out of him. Well, after the leadoff home run and making it 4-1, Tito says that's enough. We're bringing in the dog, Andrew Miller. This guy, I mean, look at these numbers. 17 innings in the postseason. This is his 10th game of the postseason, and he has only allowed 1 run. 29 strikeouts and 4 walks. That's how good he was during this whole run for the Indians in 2016. He was unhittable. He was nasty. If you watch any of the highlights from previous games, it was rough to watch. Well, Dexter Fowler says, I don't care. Single. So that's basically like a leadoff single because there's nobody out, even though the home run was earlier. And then Kyle Schwarber looks like he hits into a double play, and yeah, he does. He does. It was close, but he was out. So now you've got Chris Bryant up, just once again putting up professional at-bats, another full count, and he ends up getting the walk just off the plate. Measly little 2-out walk, right? No big deal for Andrew Miller. Well, apparently it was, because on a 1-2 pitch, Anthony Rizzo says, hey, guess what? I'm the only lefty in the world that can actually hit you. And even though it's just a single, Bryant was on the run. So he scores on a single. Once again, Bryant's showing off the speed. Like, can we all just admit that Chris Bryant was really fast? And it looks like Ben Zobrist is making it 6-1 with this swing. But Rajai Davis, good center fielder, gets to it. Cubs end the inning with 2 more runs. It's 5-1, feeling very good. Kyle Hendricks just says, okay, now I'm going to put it into cruise control. Don't need John Lester. Gets Coco Crisp to ground out. Next batter is Perez, and he gets the check swing for the strikeout. Let's just go ahead and cruise to a World Series victory, huh, guys? Well, now this shows he's really feeling it. Leads off with a curveball to Santana. Second curveball. If you got Kyle Hendricks throwing back-to-back curveballs and freezing you, you know you're in trouble. And then he goes to work a little bit. Change up down and away. Good movement, good pitch. Goes down low. Another change up, low and away. And then on the 2-2, he just paints. And that strike, it's not strike 3. And this is probably, guys, the biggest pitch of the World Series of this game, because this changed the whole dynamic of this game. You'll see why in a second. That was strike 3. Look at the replay. That had plenty of the plate. Plenty of the plate. Straight up missed it. Makes it 3-2. And what happens next? Well, it's ball 4. And for the first time in Kyle Hendricks' life, he shows emotion on the mound. He's getting taken out. Look at this. You know what he says. Something like, what a great umpire. I can't wait to go get in my ice bath. What is he saying there? I don't know, but I can only imagine how frustrating that's got to be for Kyle Hendricks, who knows he had strike 3. He knows he had 5 innings in the books, and said John Lester going against everything that Joe Maddon wanted to do. He didn't want to bring him in a dirty inning. In other words, in the middle of an inning. He wanted to bring him in a clean inning. Should have probably just kept Kyle Hendricks in hindsight, only at 63 pitches. David Ross also had told Joe Maddon, why don't you just start him this next inning? That's essentially what he said when he was in the dugout. So really all that Joe Maddon can do is kind of kick himself in the behind for what's about to happen, because it just turned into chaos. It turned into complete chaos. You've got a 2-2 count to Kipnis, and this little tapper that you got Grandpa Rossi trying to run a marathon to get, throws it into the outfield. Luckily, that ball goes into the stand, so it's second and third with 2 outs, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, just get the next guy. No big deal. Keep it 5-1. If it's a base hit, now we've got a game. Francisco Lindor, though, oh boy, here we go. So on the 0-1 pitch, and oh my gosh, Grandpa Rossi is looking like he is definitely in his last game of his career because, I mean, how do you even explain this? It hits off his helmet. He falls over. Can't get to it in time, and Jason Kipnis, who I don't believe he was much of a runner, scores from second on a wild pitch, and it's now 5-3. In a matter of under 10 pitches from Kyle Hendricks being removed from this game, this is suddenly a terrifying situation now. You're just wondering, the curse, is it back? Is it, all these things. Multiple times throughout this game, we wonder, is the curse back? But this especially, you're just like, what are we doing? Now, Lester does bear down. He does get the strikeout to end the inning against Lindor. But man, the vibes, the momentum that was gained from the last 2 innings is now feeling a little shifted. So let's see what happens in the 6th inning. That's next.